Hey, Stubby here, and we are back on another episode of Frozenopolis. So I was giving it some time because I knew they were coming out with an update with the final quest, and then they did. And then I got lost in researching ElementalCraft. So it's been a minute, but we have an end, fixing the world. And it is going to require us to get into ElementalCraft. We have to get these creative element containers filled with each of the 4 elements, some fire rate blocks, some blaze predictions, getting the weather changer, and seems like we're gonna make it warm. So I came up with a plan. I figured out how. I was like, you know what? We could do the bare minimum. We could just run down this chain just enough to get what we need. We could go through this just enough to get what we need. I was like, you know what? Let's not. So I came up with ways. So far, I'm down to about, I think, here in figuring out how to automate everything. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to come up with a way to automate it. So we're going to get some techniques to automate ElementalCraft. We're going to use hostile neural networks to automate some of the inputs we need, which conveniently enough is a quest line in itself. And I think we'll get to right about here. So let's go. I think I have most of the stuff pre-staged. And what we're going to do is we are going to set up a room downstairs in our lovely open chamber that I still haven't finished decorating because I don't know the vibe I want to put into it. But down here on this side over here is going to be our ElementalCraft room. So it's going to be pretty big the way I want to link everything together and additionally make room for automating the rest of this. So we've got to come down here and come up with ways to automate this right here. So all this, easy, simple, complex, lots of stuff, but it comes together easy. I haven't looked into this, so I got to figure out how we're going to get that automation done, but we're going to do it. Because why the heck not? All right, so first things first, what we have is hostile networks. In this one, I've already gone ahead, I made the model frameworks. It was really simple to make. I made a bunch of them. I made the deep learner. Again, not a complicated recipe. Very simple to make. I still have to make our loot simulation chambers and our loot fabricators. Also, not complex recipes. They're just ender pearls. It's the hardest thing for us to get, but we're going to get them while we're out. And so let's go over the way you use hostile neural networks is you have the learner right here, and you have models. Now, it's not the exact model right there. It's actually hostile. These ones right here that you're seeing, you get those by having it in your hand and right-clicking on a mob. Then it transitions to that mob specific. And it becomes a faulty was it framework? Is that the right word? Faulty data model. And you have to kill, it was like 5 or 6 of them while holding that in your offhand to get enough data to start it working. Now, as you run simulations in the simulation chamber, it does level up, but you have to get that first level manually. So let's go ahead and get ourselves, what do we got on netherite? I think we got enough, actually. Netherite, because I want power. Should just be... that would help if I picked the right one. Ooh, here we go. 4, 4, and I'll need netherite sword, which is going to be... And I should have one of those still tucked away right there. Awesome. So let's go with 6. And we're going to need... Go 7. To the crafting table, netherite sword. Probably helps if I make the sword. All right. And we're going to go and take some of those. And that bad boy. Now, I do have one trick we're going to do, because we also need to get a blaze. And so let's go with fell pumpkins. A lot easier way to get the blaze. So we'll need rotten flesh, string, bone, pumpkin, and gunpowder. Need more pumpkins. And let's look it up. I know I had some more, and we need some iron. Let's see, iron bars. Might be enough. Let's go to a safe area that we don't mind causing some damage. And we're going to go boom, boom. Fell pumpkin. Ow. Just like that. So you see it changed into this data model. Now I can go to my deep learner, put that in there, and you can see that it is currently faulty, and I have to collect 6 total. So I'll need actually 1 more fell pumpkin. Data per kill is 1. So we'd make another one. Put this in our offhand. I wonder, I can't remember if you have to have it in your offhand or just in your hotbar, but I like it in my offhand just to be safe. There we go. And now if we look at it, you can see that it has 1 of 6 data collected. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the fell pumpkins done. I'm going to go out and we're looking for zombified piglins from the nether. We're going to be looking for skeletons just because I might need some bones as a backup. We're going to be looking for zombies because I need the iron from them. And we're going to be getting some creepers because, excuse me, I'm going to need gunpowder. So I'm going to run around. I'm going to kill enough to get at least the faulty level turned to basic for them. And we'll just let it run in the simulation. Yes, you can keep going, and it's just a handful more kills. But it's going to be automated anyway, so we might as well just let it go, I think. So I will be back as soon as we got that running. All right, so we are back. And let's see, in between, I got some data models. I went ahead, I got the zombie piglin. I got zombie. I found a witch. That was not a fun experience. I only got 1, so it's still faulty. I'm going to have to keep working on that one. I got skeletons. I got spiders and creepers and enderman. That was a great one, which is going to come in handy. And the blaze from the fell pumpkins. So that was kind of, an easy one to get. So I was looking at my setup. And I know I first was talking about doing it on here, but I actually need to start right around here because this is where our mana generation is. And we need to do one more set of generations with the orchid. Now, I could do this upstairs and pipe it down, but I just don't want to mess with what I already have up there. So we're going to figure out a spot. We're going to bring some mana down here. And we're going to do one more orchid setup and just use a hopper hawk to collect it all. And we'll send... I think so. It comes up with cinnabar, sulfur, I think apatite, and niter. Those 4 we don't need for this. We're going to be able to send them up to the storage unit. And the last one is the inert crystals. So that's the one we need to keep and run down our production lines. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting the setup. You've seen that done. So I'm going to just get the mana set down to a pull down here and kind of get this area right here cleaned up. We'll do the floors and decorations after. But I want to get that piping in place so we can send stuff back. I'll be able to utilize some of this piping that we have, probably. I may even just bring this back, knock this wall out, and maybe we'll start right here. So I'm going to get that first part set up. You've seen it. It's on my base. Nothing new. I'm just going to knock it out. And then we'll come back and we're going to go ahead and start working down the rest of the line, starting with the water crystal was the easiest one. But we'll kind of break it down. I've got it set up into chunks. So I broke it up into pieces. We'll be able to make each crystal. I've got a setup to do the throwing of the crystals, because if you look at them, say the fire crystal, there it is. If you throw it, that's how you get the powerful and the raw. So I got a method to automate the throwing of the crystals, collecting that, and sending them down. Then we'll take those to our elemental. It's this thing right here, evaporate. And then that will turn those shards into the essence, source essence, whatever you want to call it, that we're going to need for a lot of the other stuff. So let's get this set up and let's keep it going. All right, so we are done with the first part of the setup. We just did what I was talking about right here, and that's getting us the inert ore, and that we're unfreezing it, smelting it, getting our inert crystals. And then over here, I need clay for a setup that we're doing on the other side of this wall. So I got the living wood altar and the rod of the lands, which creates dirt, which right now I disabled it. And then the dirt, excuse me, the dirt will go into the sequential fabricator. And this is making cobble, bringing that into the sequential fabricator as gravel. And that's making our coarse dirt. And I'm using laser IO because you can use so I'm extracting on this side, and on this one, oh, not you, right there. This one right here, I'm using the stock, and I'm just using regulate and exact. Didn't really need regulate, but it doesn't hurt. And so with exact, it's putting only 2. It won't let more than 2 be in here. I need 2 for the recipe, so I don't have to worry about this overstocking this area. And that's turning coarse dirt, which is coming over here, and the orchid is also converting the coarse dirt into clay. Now, I do need to change out these mana spreaders. Got to get the Elven portal up at least so we can get the Gaia spreaders. I think it's Gaia, right? That's the next step. Elven mana spreaders. Something. We need to up how much is coming here, but we also need to improve up top as well. And then we'll be able to automate this at a much faster speed. So this clay is necessary for hostile neural networks. Right here, we're going to need to make these prediction matrices. Now, the glass, we're just going to use a setup that we're going to use a couple times in here, where we're going to take resource generating cobble into gravel, into sand, smelting it into glass. The clay, we just started creating, and we're actually just going to use hostile neural networks to make ourselves the gold and iron. I'm thinking that should be enough. So I set up over here, I kind of got it sketched out, the design, and I gave some extra room so we can run 11. I only have 5 right now, but hey, we could expand as we go with the automation concepts. And we're going to have basically 1 row will be the simulation chambers and 1 row will be the loot fabricators. I just kind of got to figure out which way I want to do it. So first things first, let's go ahead and start making some of these. So let's look at hostile. We want to make some simulation chambers. So we'll need redstone comparators. Oop, that one. And let's just go ahead and redstone torches, pain. Craft a stack. What do we shy on? 6. All right. Stack. And that one. Wait. I know I had some ender. That's my issue. All right. And There we go. Try this one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we got to 4. And the loot fabricator. I think we are going to be shy on. Yep. So let's go ahead and. Oh, you. Thank you. All right. We got some of them going. All right, so we're going to take our. Let's see, how do I want this? I think we'll go right here for those. And we're going to put these ones. I get it. There we go. No. Oh, and dang, I put my thing upstairs. All right, let's go grab that. We'll be right back. All right, so the first one we're going to want to set up is the Enderman because we need more Ender Pearls. And we're going to start, we need by hand making some of these prediction matrices. So we need some more glass panes. See if we can just have enough on us to get us started. All right, drop that in there. Let me guess. I did those out of order. Uh-huh. Oh, rude. Yeah, Hop Rock picked it up from all the way over here. Very, very rude. And now we need to get our generalized overworld, which we're not going to be at yet. And one of the cool things about this, so as this is going, you see it's running through, it's gone through at least once, and it's given us 1 data point. So after 48 times through, this will actually level up on its own, which makes it more efficient. And that's why I really wasn't super worried. Like, we're going to go through an excessive amount of this before we get what we want, but it's going to work that way. Now, this, can we make this into... I don't think we have emerald. 3. All right. And then in here, let's go ahead and get our gold going. Get our iron going. And our blaze going. Boom. Boom. Just like that. And hopefully, if we get a successful one, we'll get the ender... this thing. Prediction. Nope, right now we're at like 5%. So I'm going to have to let this run in order to finish building this out. But we need to automate getting the prediction matrices. So we're going to do that back here. And it's going to be the same concept that you kind of saw already. We're going to run resource generators. We're going to run, let's see, I just need 1. We're going to need a sequential. We're going to need cobble, copper, redstone. And this should hopefully, oh, pulverizer. And energy. So let's see, if we're going to do it right about here, I think we'll just go ahead and put it, seems like a great spot. Run our power to it. I'm going to clean this up later. Just don't want to fall in the hole. All right, so we're going to need glass panes. Actually, we need 2 sequential fabricators, now that I'm thinking about it. And we're going to want to give ourselves a little bit of space, so technically do this one right there. And we'll run, and we'll use laser IO again, and that's how we'll bridge the gap so I can control the goods going in. And I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this set up. I might have to move it a little bit, and we'll be back as soon as this is done, and we'll keep ourselves going. Got a lot to cover. Right, so that took a lot longer than expected. I've been dealing with so much. I have destroyed my power. I've gone in and added another row of carrots growing back there, hoping, and I don't know if it's keeping up or not. I've gotten down to like 3. I don't know. I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm hoping that I've gotten ahead of it, but I don't know. I might have to add more. I'm probably going to have to add more, especially because I'm adding more machines. But we have all these going. In the process of doing all this, these have gone up. Most of them, I think, are superior now. I don't know, are they all? Yeah, advanced, superior. We're getting there. But what I have going is basically on the back side of this, I'll go ahead and show you. I pipe these individually because it's less hassle than dealing with filters on every single input and output. So basically each one is its own independent pipe, piping over to here and up. So the matter comes over to here and the prediction goes up and keeps its process going. All the matters come through here, get collected together, shooting up into right here, and everything else as an output comes over to here. Now, these first 3 items, these are actually going to stay local. The gold and silver are going to be both here and over in the other room. We're going to need those, and the blaze is going to be specifically to the other room. Everything else will end up getting piped to storage. Now, so what we have going on here is we have laser IO worked perfectly for this. We have just the export chips on this side, and we have the stock chip. So I got keep in stock. We're doing 1, 1, and 1, and then over here we're bringing in 4 glass panes. So just keeping it in stock, no more than that, so we don't have to worry about pulling too much. And then I'm going to do drawer limiting on the other side to really just control what I have. I don't want to go too far into the excess. So our clay is getting piped over here, which I'll show you that on the other side. All that's mixing to make our prediction matrices to fill up those. The glass panes we're getting from making glass, which is just a resource gen, pulverized. So cobble to gravel, gravel to sand, sand to glass. Everything else right now is going here. It's going to get piped upstairs. On the back side, in our main area, we have our setup. So our orchid is taking care of frozen stone, which is using the resource generator there. I got a hopper hawk collecting it. Thank you, sir. The inert crystal is going here, and everything else is already piped upstairs, and that's how I'm going to handle the gathering from the stuff upstairs. Leave me alone. The inert crystal is going into the non-frozen form, into the crystal right here, so we can pipe that over here. We're going to need it for the water crystals. And then I have cobble getting made into gravel, a rod of the land, which is currently disabled. I had so much, and now it's down to 0, but that is making dirt. Cobble dirt, or gravel dirt is coarse dirt, combining them right there, and that produces right here, which then the orchid also is in range of this and makes the clay, which we saw sent back over there. All right, so the next thing we need to have is I have 5 setups. They're each unique, but essentially similar. So I'm going to do those off camera in between real quick, but I just wanted to go over them. So the 5 setups are going to be, I'm going to do 2 water crystal setups. The first one is going to be used for the drenched iron that we need to make, and then I'm going to have one for each of the actual crystals itself. So what we're doing is we're going to do a aqueous accumulator, so we can use an infinite water source, pump water in here, so we don't need to do water buckets. We can just use the sequential fabricator, which will take a liquid input and simulate buckets. And we're going to have a sequential fabricator making the contained crystals using gold nuggets and the crystals that we're making over there. The next, so we're gonna have 2 of these. We're gonna have the next line will be, let's go with fire, which is gonna be taking the blaze powder. So we're gonna pulverize those rods that we're collecting. It's gonna take lava, and we're gonna use magma generator or magmatic dynamo. Magma crucibles, if I could speak. And we're just gonna use cobble, easy, and making lava. So we'll do those along with the drenched iron from our iron line. We'll produce those. The earth crystals, we're going to be using another Rod of the Land setup, or if that one's producing fast enough, I'll just pipe off that same box, keep it easy. The drenched iron again, see why I needed my own independent line. And we're going to do a grass. Grass is going to be growing grass out of the botany pot and combining that with dirt, and we'll have grass blocks, just like this. And then air. So this one is going to be using the exact same setup that you saw in the other room, where we're getting from cobble down to sand and then smelting that into glass. I'm going to do 2 rows of that. So one will be dedicated to glass and one will be dedicated to glass jars. I could probably split it up, handle that, but it's just going to be easier to make them independent lines. I don't have to worry about it, but that is all going to go across right here. Now I kind of have to figure out the way that I want to do this. I'm thinking what we'll do is we're going to do a drenched iron setup right here because we're going to need it for everything else. So I'll do a drenched iron setup, water, fire, air, and earth all over on this side. And so what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much going to set all of those up with the exception of the process from water crystal to drenched iron. We're going to bring that back on camera because I came up with a good way to do it and I just want to go over that. So once we have that process shown, you'll be able to see how we're going to do that. The way we're doing that the drenched iron is kind of also then going to be replicated across all of the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and get to plotting all these out and kind of figuring out my spaces, and we'll be back in a flash. All right, we are back, and I have gotten a little more accomplished. So far, what we got going on here is I've got a lava setup. Who's on my netherite? We're doing netherrack into nether bricks because it's just burning faster. So I was using less power to make them. It was working faster. It seemed like it was just taking longer than I wanted to with cobble. Felt like I was losing power, but I've been letting it run. It's ahead. I basically have 10 magmatic dynamos down below. So it's feeding into this tank, which feeds all the dynamos down below, as well as our setup here, which is going to go to the fire crystal. Here we have our setup for the water one. It is elemental. These bad boys, water shards. So what we're doing, like I said, is we're making the water or the contained crystals. Contained crystals are then feeding into these. And I, again, just did the stock method, so it keeps just one crystal at a time. Both of those are outputting those crystals into this dispenser. Now, the way this is set up to work, oh no, stay in there, is down below this, I have a redstone clock from Opolis Utilities. And then I have a comparator coming off of the hopper and just going to a repeater right back. So this will actually disable the redstone clock. And basically there's about a half a stack or so wiggle room that's enough to light that up. So if we get backlogged here, which is coming into this and compressing and coming to the powerful water shards, if this gets full, it will stop, which is what I want because I'm letting it run. I'm letting it fill this up because eventually this will feed both systems. So I'll pipe off of here to go the water, the fire, air, the earth. But it just was just more convenient to do it this way and then pipe off the excess. So we're letting it fill up, and I use that hopper locking system, or redstone clock lock, I guess, to prevent those. So from here, we have to do 2 different setups. We have to get our the evaporation and the infusing, because we want to get our drenched iron. So first things first, we need to get a bunch of these, which I just kind of boom, 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 Just like that. Stack, stack. There you go, 4 stacks. That ought to be enough. And let's see, what is... Oh, we need to add... Looks like just glass. So let us just try to do it this way. Can I make it? I don't want to use mana glass. I want to use regular glass. I have 5. Good. There we go. All right, so we have this, and we're going to go ahead and put one... I got to come up with another method. All right. And then we'll come up over and right here. And then that one will just go right here. We're going to do a pipe in between them. And that will pull from here to here. And the next thing we're going to need is the evaporator, which will need glass. And of course, I used all my glass. So let's go acquire some glass. Nyum. Need to find an off method for some of this stuff. Jeez. You can do it. 2. Oh, rude. All right. Of course, I'm just going to run around like crazy because it's what I do. I'm like, my mind is going 20 different ways. I've been spending a few days trying to put this together because I've got a lot in it. I'm trying to get through quite a bit compared to what I normally would. There we go. And this evaporator is going to go right there. We're going to put a hopper. Let's look at hopper, pipe. Why did I do 1 pipe? Pipe out. We're gonna hopper in, and we'll pipe up. And set that to extract. There we go. So now this will pipe in. We do want to upgrade these to the better tanks. From what I did in testing, it definitely was a better production rate, better speed, better overall process by going to the next level stuff. So we want to get there. But we're going to be piping these in as this goes. It'll fill this up, and that'll eventually be our backlog. These will come in here. They're creating water elements, which will go into this container, which will need another hopper and a pipe. And we're going to pipe. Probably come up with a cleaner way to do it, but just for the time being, it comes out, it goes over to this one, right? Yeah. So for the time being, I'm just going to go really rough and ugly and up and over. We're going to bring it right to a hopper here. Nope. Ah, rude. A hopper here. Thank you. Oh, rude. Okay. Drawer. I need one. Let's see. E. Lock you. Boom. And now we... wrong button. Element Infuser. So that one is actually pretty simple to make. Let's go grab one more of those crystals. And we'll put this bad boy right here. Ah, it's so beautiful. And what I want to do is take that. We're going to pipe it like that. E, lock. Boom. There we go. So now we have, obviously this will get cleaned up. I'm going to move this probably over to this side, get it nice and clean. But what we have going on is we have our water crystals coming into a dispenser on a redstone clock, breaking into the shards. They're compacting into the powerful shards, which are then feeding the evaporator, which is giving us the water source, which is then feeding the infuser, which is taking that water source plus iron and turning it into these drenched iron. We're going to need to let this run a little bit. We have the next crystals are going to be fire, which is going to use 4 at a time. So obviously this needs to get amped up. It needs to run. We're going to have a way lower amount available for all of this other stuff. Because that'll need it. Let's see. This one will need it. And that one all needs it. So at the end of the day, I might end up even making this doubled, depending. We do have produced enough. I might make 2 sets of infusers, 3, 4. We'll kind of scale this section based on what we need. But it's just going to run infinitely as long as we have power going to everything else. So I'm going to go and take essentially a feed of this drenched iron is going to come back into this area right here for the other 3 systems. And we're going to start taking our outputs. So this one right here is going to be taking blaze rods, which are being compressed into powder and lava, and then the drenched iron, and that'll make our fire. And we're just going to keep coming down with these setups right here. And everything is going to look exactly similar. Like that, exactly similar. And they'll all have a setup using this right here. This is how we're going to break it into the sources. And we'll probably keep a backlog too. You never know. But I'm going to go ahead and keep working on that. And this is probably where we're going to go ahead and wrap up. We'll see the timing and all that as I'm working on this. But essentially, you'll see something similar to this, and then just some sort of different setup. So we'll have this as the setup for the fire. We'll have the cobblegen into glass to make the air. And we're going to use botany pots to make the earth. So we'll be back when it's done. All right. So I'm trying to make this quick. We're running out of time. In between episodes, I need to up my power. I'm not making enough. On this side, we've gone ahead and we've upgraded our containers and our pipes. It seems like it goes faster. So you can see I've really scaled this up. We got the pipes going. And let's see, they are red here. We gone to this container, which it was really easy to make. That was the hardest part, was doing some infusing with fire. But it's pretty easy. I just did a little temporary setup, got it going once I was ready. Oh, come on, I know I'm cold. Back on the thing, thank you. Anyway, and we upgraded our pipes, which also very simple to upgrade. You just needed to use the drenched iron that we're already making, and boom, we're done, right? From there, we take all of this, we're getting our drenched iron. Our drenched iron is then getting split to a few different spots. We have it coming over here, mixing with this to make our air. We have it coming from here, bouncing over to here to make our fire. And we have it bouncing again over here to make our earth. So we already saw the fire setup. Nothing really changed. We just added the fabricator. We pulverized the blaze rods, mixed it all together. The air, the same setup. We got the cobbled all the way to glass. And this one adds in making glass bottles. On the earth, I have 9 of these making grass for us. And on the other side, I have the dirt coming in from over there. So that's making our dirt as well as our grass blocks coming in, mixing with the mana steel, producing our earth. So this is our level 1, basically everything ElementalCraft. Tier 1, we do need to start pulling essences from these, but I'm going to end up piping. I just really needed to scale this up. I'm going to end up making more of these, but now our drawback is the crystals. That's what's holding us up on a lot of this now. But we're going to wrap it up here. I will see you guys next time. Until then, Stubby out.